Hi, my name is Stephen Kappen. I'm a staff attorney at the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service, and I'm here to talk today about some information about drafting a will. So basically, this is not legal advice. This is just some information in general about drafting a will in Maryland. And if you want advice tailored to your specific situation, you should go seek that advice with a professional. So basically, I also want to clarify that drafting a will is super, super important. The reason we talk to people about it is because it's a critical piece of estate planning. It's a critical piece of building intergenerational wealth. So with our clients, we're consistently working to help people build wealth, keep their families, keep their communities together by making sure there's a really airtight estate plan. So to that point, and one of the most important things, one of the most important takeaways is that if you are talking to your family, talk to them. If you're including them in the will, talk to them about it. Having those conversations ahead of time is what makes sure that everyone is on the same page, everyone's informed, everyone has notice before there are arguments later. So as much as talking as you can do before time, you were saving your family stress and strife after the fact, because it's already a very intense process to deal with the passing of a loved one, and a good estate plan, a good will can make that a little bit easier, can at least make things clear. So some things that are important to include, some things that are often included in wills are the instructions and arrangements for funeral costs. That's something you really want to talk about ahead of time, but it also is often included in the will. We also want to talk about the appointment of a personal representative to deal with an estate, to deal with assets and any questions or management that needs to be done with those things. You can choose to appoint a personal representative in your will. You definitely want to talk to that person, and they actually have the option to decline after the fact if they are no longer able to assume that responsibility. But you do want to have a conversation with them ahead of time to make sure that they're willing to take on that responsibility. In addition, we want to identify our family and be very specific about the way that our assets are going to them. It's probably specific to the point that you might think it's a bit redundant. Often it's important to include a residuary, which is where you kind of put it in your kind of catch-all provision. You want to make sure that any important family heirlooms or anything, you have specific notes delineating where those are going to go to. In addition, one thing that people forget often or don't think about as much is that the appointment of guardians is a really important thing that you can do. If you have guardianship over any minors in your life, appointing potential guardians to be in your stead is a really important part of what a will actually accomplishes. In addition, you want to consider for each gift whether or not it matters the survival of the other person, because oftentimes tragic things can happen and people might pass away before you, even though it might be untimely. So those are a few of the things that you want to consider when you're making a will. There are a lot more. There are a lot of specific provisions, specific clauses that are recognized in Maryland law, and you might want to consider for your will. And there are a lot that we haven't talked about today that are kind of due diligence when talking about a will. So definitely seek out more information. If you're a volunteer, you want to help people make these wills, build their legacies, and keep their kind of communities together. You can go to MVLS website and sign up to be a volunteer there. And then if you're a potential client, you can go to the website and fill out an online intake, or you can call our intake line Monday through Thursday from 9 to 12 p.m. So thank you all. I hope you have a good one.